With the 23rd pick in the 2008 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Rashard Mendenhall, running back, Illinois.
And there you hear it, Rashard Mendenhall, the pick of the Steelers in Steeler Draft 2008. Good evening, everyone, and welcome live to Steeler Draft headquarters here on the south side of Pittsburgh. I'm Bob Pompiani, and no, they didn't take an offensive lineman. No, not a defensive lineman, not even a wide receiver or a defensive back. A lot of people thought those four positions would be of priority. Instead, the Steelers go with a guy they did not expect to be on the board at position 23, a running back out of the University of Illinois. That's Rashard Mendenhall, 20-year-old. He's 5'11", just under 220 pounds, 4.45 40 time, but the kid is a workhorse. There's no doubt about it. He had a wonderful year this year with the Fighting Illini, 262 carries, almost 1,700 yards rushing, 17 rushing touchdowns, but he's good in open space too, 34 receptions out of the backfield with 2 receiving touchdowns. And quite frankly, the Steelers did not expect him to be there. As a result, they scooped him up and didn't take him much time at all. Alongside Edmund Nelson, former Steeler nose tackle, and a man who knows everything about football. So Edmund, were you surprised here that they went running back instead of all these other positions that we thought they desperately needed?
Bob, if you look at all of the offseason moves that the Steelers were making, really, it's not really a shock if you really look at it. They felt like the Steelers did, that they've signed some offensive linemen. They have a backup center, probably going to be pushing for the strong center job. They signed the big Max Starks, to a one-year deal. They're pretty comfortable with him. Obviously, they're comfortable with him. Gave him a lot of money. So, I was thinking maybe DB, maybe running back, and here we are with a good running back in Rashard Mendenhall. This guy's shifty. He's fast enough, and now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch, especially with Willie Parker coming back running at full speed.
And a lot of people thought maybe that Willie Parker's injury had something to do with this pick, but I talked to Kevin Colbert, and he said absolutely not. He is close to 100%, so it does give them a good 1-2 punch. Let's take a look at Rashard Mendenhall in action. In case you haven't seen this kid, he, as I said, he's quick to the outside. He's also a power runner inside. He can do it all, Edmund, and I think fits exactly the kind of game the Steelers want to employ on the ground game.
Have some savvy coming up. Now watch the speed to the outside. Look at the vision coming up, the little stiff arm there. Look at the speed going down the sidelines. This guy has all the tools, it looks like.
Yeah, and certainly he wears 5, at least he did with Illinois, but he's always in for 6 in the end zone. He has a nose for the end zone, as he shows you that right here. And it's interesting, this is the first #1 pick as a running back for the Steelers in 19 years. The last guy who was selected #1 was Tim Worley, and he did not turn out all that well, and that actually tells you just how good the Steelers have been throughout their draft in running backs. They had Barry Foster. They drafted him, I think, in the 5th round. You brought in Bam Morse at the time. Jerome Bettis was acquired by trade. There's no need to get a #1 pick in a running back when you got a guy like Bettis and then Parker as a free agent. So they've done a good job supplying that position without using a #1 pick, but it's the first one in 19 years.
Well, this guy, obviously, they wanted him because he was still there on the board. But, Bob, this is a draft that was pretty deep at the running back position, so they could have gotten a running back later. The fact that this guy came up speaks volumes as to what they really think about him. They think he's going to be a great winner, probably a leader, and probably an eventual starter.